saw Jesus on the cross on the hill called Calvary. Do you hate mankind for what they done to you? He said, talk of love, not hate. Things to do, it's getting late. We've so little time and we're just passing through. Passing through. Passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Pretty easy lyrics. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Try it. Passing through. Passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I saw Adam leave the garden with an apple in his hand. Said, now you're out, what are you gonna do? Plant my crops and pray for rain, maybe raise a little cane. I'm an orphan now and I'm just passing through, passing through, passing through, passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. Well, I shivered with George Washington one night at Valley Forge. Why do you soldiers freeze here like they do? He said men will suffer fight, even die for what is right, even though they know they're only passing through. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I was at Franklin Roosevelt's side just a while before he died. He said one world must come out of World War II. Yankee, Russian, white or tan, Lord, a man is just a man. We're all brothers and we're only passing through. Let me hear you. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through. I heard Huey Newton wail when they carried him off to jail. I said, it looks like you're really through. He said, don't you worry, son, the fight has just begun. I'm a black man and I'm only passing through. Passing through, passing through. Sometimes happy, sometimes blue. Glad that I ran into you. Tell the people that you saw me passing through.
Thank you. Railroad Bill, he never worked and he never will. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Looking for a woman, looking for a man, looking for a woman with a good health care plan. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Darling, please be sweet. I can keep you in brisket or beef. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Here we go. Railroad Bill, Railroad Bill. He never worked, Lord, he never will. Won't you ride, 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 ride? I wouldn't marry an old school teacher, I'll tell you the reason why. Blows her nose in old cornbread, calls it pumpkin pie. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Let me hear you now. Railroad Bill. He never worked, he never will. Won't you ride, 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 ride? This is the first song Fred ever learned on the guitar. And he was so proud of it. Fred was born in 1942. I came about 4 years later. He wasn't nuts about that at first. But I grew on him. My younger brother Alan came around many, many years later. He's a black sheep in the family. He's got a good job, he's married, and he's got a home. We didn't even talk to him until he was 33 years old. So disappointed. But Fred started buying records at a really early age, more than most of the other kids. He bought all the records in the early 50s. He bought Johnny Ray. He bought Martha Ray. I don't know why he bought a Martha Ray record, but he just loved records. Then he bought he didn't care if I would have said this. He loved Nelson Eddy and Jeanette McDonald. And he loved their movies too, which was really, he used to sing along, which was really annoying. But down the street from our parents' drugstore was a wonderful guy by the name of George Silas, who had a place called the House of Music record store at 78th and Holstein, for you Southsiders, right next to the Capitol Theater. And George saw that Fred had this really unique enthusiasm for music. And by then, this is 1956, Fred probably owned about 1,000 records. Guy Mitchell records, Rosemary Clooney, all that kind of stuff, and rock and roll was starting to happen. And when something interesting came through the store, George would let Fred know about it. There was a young folk singer around the time by the name of Bob Gibson, who was doing Genghis Brother commercials. And he made a record, 45. George played it for Fred. Fred loved it right away, and then he bought this album, brought it home, called Offbeat Folk Songs. And this was really different stuff for Fred, because up until then he was having a good time with Johnny Ray and Martha Ray and Nelson Eddy and Jeanette McDonald, but he was starting to get bored. I Love You Baby, You Drive Me Crazy was just getting a little too much. But these songs had something else going on. They had stories, and they talked about different parts of the country. There were authentic cowboy songs, songs from the sea, songs from the rural North Carolina about 12-year-old grandmothers. This fascinated Fred. And my mom got us a couple of tickets to go see Pete Seeger at Orchestra Hall, and that was it. Fred knew what he wanted to do. Came down to Old Town, and he worked at the Old Town Folklore Center for John Carvo, when that was a big thing, to have your big brother work at that store, because everybody Fred's age wanted to work at that store, but Fred got the gig, because John loved the way he sang, and he became part of John's group. Fred replaced Roger McGuinn in a group called the Frets, which was like the Mighty Wind with talent. And then Fred got his first apartment on Wells Street. And And Fred had this apartment, he had this job, and he's starting to sing around Old Town, and everybody wanted to be in Fred's apartment. Everybody was in Fred's apartment. Fred used to leave the door open. Who knew? A lot of people came through that. Art Theme remembers when Johnny Cash was there. Art was there all night with him. Singing, I think he recorded an album of Indian songs. And it was Art Theme, Patty Tallick, and Fred listening to Johnny Cash. I went there one morning. I just wanted to be in Fred's apartment. Everybody wanted to be there. And I couldn't believe it. 9:30 in the morning, one of my biggest guitar heroes was there. His name's Booker White. And he was in Fred's kitchen at 9:30 in the morning with a bunch of lard and cooking chicken. He asked me if I wanted some. I said, "Where's my brother? He's asleep." Fred hung around Old Town, and then some dark days started to come around. Nobody wanted to hear folk music anymore, except a couple guys. Well, he worked for a couple of wonderful guys who had wonderful clubs. Poor Richard Harding had a club on Sedgwick Street. My parents came to see Fred, and they were watching the show, and my dad says, "You know, I'm feeling deja vu. I've been here before." And then he said, "Oh yeah, I went to Hebrew school here." My dad got bar mitzvah where Arlo Guthrie wrote Alice's Restaurant. Pretty good. And then, everybody wanted to be in a rock band and get a rock band, and Fred didn't want to do a rock band because Fred wasn't going to move any equipment, so he knew that. He just, he didn't mind bringing a 12-string and a banjo with him, but he wasn't going to schlep any equipment. So there was word that the Earl of Old Town was going to have folk music. Nobody wanted it. But Earl knew that if you have a folk singer, you could charge 50 cents more for a beer. They were already $4 back then. So it was a godsend. Earl opened up, and all these folk singers said, "Oh, we finally got a place to sing." And it was a great club, and you really learn your craft when you work for Earl, because you work 5 days a week, 35 shows a night. A Sunday afternoon, Folkorama. And out of that came a wonderful amount of talent and friendships and a long time of great stuff. You really knew your stuff when you left that place. Railroad Bill, never worked and he never will. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Just want to mention my mom was here. Where is she? There she is. Boy, can she cook? She can cook. When I go over for dinner, she makes enough food for all of you. Annette Goodman's here too. I wonder who makes better chopped liver. So tonight's going to be a celebration of Fred, and it's like, I teach here at the Old Town School of Folk Music. You can take lessons with me. You can spend an hour and a half with an icon. Every Saturday at 11 o'clock, and it's all because of Fred. Fred got me into music in the most wonderful part of my life. And tonight you're going to hear some wonderful performers, old friends and colleagues and current teachers here at the Old Town School of Folk Music. And you're going to hear some of Fred's songs, some of Fred's favorite songs, and some wonderful night. I want to thank, by the way, on behalf of my family, Colleen Miller and the Old Town School of Folk Music, Dave, and everybody connected, the work that they did here. How about a round of applause? Colleen said to me, you know, she put this whole thing together, all I did was, you know, just say hi, how you doing? She said, asked me questions. She said, you know, Ed, you know how it is. You used to book at Holstein's. I said, Colleen, all I did was answer the phone. You guys really work. Starch my jumper, wash my overall. I'm gonna take a train they call the Cannonball from Buffalo to Washington. Railroad Bill, one more time. Railroad Bill, Railroad Bill, never worked and he never will. Won't you ride, 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 ride? Thank you. Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
When I was asked to sing here and I started listening again to my Holstein recordings, and I thought about what a gracious home you were always invited into when you went to a Holstein show. We heard Fred sing this on a recording just recently. So I would like you to sing along on Dona, Dona. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. You guys are good. Let's do it again. That felt nice. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. On a wagon bound for market, there's a calf with a mournful eye. High above him there's a swallow winging swiftly through the sky. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Stop complaining, said the farmer, who told you a calf to be. Why don't you have wings to fly with, like the swallow so proud and free? How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. Calves are easily bound and slaughtered, never knowing the reason why. But whoever treasures freedom, like the swallow, must learn to fly. How the winds are laughing, they laugh with all their might. Laugh and laugh the whole day through and half the summer's night. Dona, 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 Dona. Dona, 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 Don. great. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know, I think all any of us can hope for is to, in our lives, give enough to our family and friends and community to be remembered and missed when we're due to go. And I think as far as Fred Holstein is concerned, he'll be greatly missed.
One sweet thought my soul will cherish when this earthly life is o'er. That thought will ease my dying. It's that you'll miss me when I'm gone.
Will you miss me when I'm gone? Will
When I was away at college back in 1982, it was the first time being away from home, and I was way out in this tiny college out in the middle of the Finger Lakes region of New York State, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And there used to be this radio show that would come in from Rochester late at night that would have folk music and acoustic programming on there, and I used to be able to catch it when all the other stations had gone off the air. And I remember they were doing a program one night, the topic was hobos. They were playing this song and that one, and then I remember hearing the sound of a guitar lightly finger-picked in this sort of very gingerly going along in this 6/8 time. Doom da doom da doom da doodle doom da doom da doom. And this lush baritone just flooding out from these crummy little speakers in my radio saying, "Come all you jolly jokers if you want to have some fun." And I thought, who was that? And what are these cool songs? And later on the announcer said, well, that was Fred Holstein. And I never got away from it. And those were two songs that I learned right away as like a 19-year-old. And I always kept them close and had a connection with Fred that way. I would also hear him occasionally on the old flea market show from the Old Town School. I got to meet him very briefly when this building opened and they had that grand day and night of music, and that was really wonderful. But I always remembered back to those Hobo songs. I'm not going to do those for you because we're all going to do something else. Recently, I was at the Tom Dundee event, the Somebody Else's Troubles, over at Lucille's. And I was doing a song, a thing that I'd heard Stan Rogers sing a long time ago. And a wonderful woman named Phyllis came up after the show, and she said, "Are you going to be at the Fred Holstein Memorial concert?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "Would you do that a cappella song you did?" And I said, "Well, yeah. Well, why? Is that one that he did?" And she said, "No, it's not one that he ever sang, but I know it's one he would have loved. So I'm going to do it. Actually, we're going to do it. You got to learn a few words. The chorus goes like this. I'll line it out for you, and then we'll try to put it together. The lyrics are, "Oh, what has become of the old rose and crown? Thy ship, the king's arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west." That's chorus. That's all you. The song has several verses. You'll get plenty of opportunities. So the chorus goes like this. Oh, what has become of the old rose and crown? Thy ship, the king's arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. That ain't it. Got some of it going on. So whenever that chorus comes around, try that. Anyway, hopefully this is a song he would have loved, and from what I've been told about him, I think it's probably true. Good friends, gather round and I'll tell you a tale. It's a story well known by all lovers of ale. For the old public house, once a man's second home, has been decked out by brewers in plastic and chrome. Oh, what has become of the old rose and crown? Thy ship, the king's arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. The old wooden rail where we'd meet for a glass now gives way to Formica and tanks full of gas. And the bartender, yes, once a man of good cheer, now just mumbles the price as he hands you your beer. Oh, what has become of the old rose and crown? Thy ship, the king's arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. And where are the friends who would meet for a jar and a good game of darts in the old public bar? Well, the dartboard is gone, in its place is a thing where you pull on a handle and lose all your tin. Oh, what has become of the old rose and crown? Thy ship, the king's arms, and the world upside down.
For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. But the worst of it all's what they've done to the beer. Their shandies and lagers just make you feel queer. For an arm and a leg, they will fill up your glass with an half mixture of homage and gas. Oh, what has become of the old Rose and Crown? Thy ship, the King's Arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. So come all you fine people what like to sup ale, let's hope for a happier end to me tale. For there's nothing can fill a man's heart with more cheer than to sit in a pub with a pint of good beer. Oh, what has become of the old Rose and Crown? Thy ship, the King's Arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. Oh, what has become of the old Rose and Crown? Thy ship, the King's Arms, and the world upside down. For oak, brass, and leather, and a pint of the best, fade away like the sun as it sinks in the west. Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, it's wonderful to see everybody today. And what an auspicious occasion. Michael's very sorry he couldn't be here with me. He's working in St. Louis this weekend, but he sent a song. Every town ought to have a folk singer, a Woody Guthrie, a Pete Seeger, a rake and a rambler, midnight gambler. And every town ought to have a song seeker, a guitar and a long neck banjo picker, loves the bright lights, loves the night life. And every town ought to have a prodigal son, just gets started when the day is done, leaves you broken-hearted singing streets of London. And every town needs a folk singer, a Woody Guthrie, a Pete Seeger, a rake and a rambler, midnight gambler. The best kind of fame is when the folks in your hometown know your name. This town's never gonna be the same. We had a good one, but he's gone. Had a real good one, but he's gone. Thank you. Thank you so much. Michael, thanks you.
Here's a song that was written in 1895 by a man who called himself Banjo Patterson. This song has had many interpretations through the years. At one time it was even considered to be the Australian national anthem. I'd like to offer it tonight to the memory of an old acquaintance of mine. Once there was a swagman who sat beside the billabong under the shade of the Lullaby tree, and he sang as he sat and waited till his belly boiled. Who will come waltzing, Matilda, with me? Then down came a jumbuck to drink beside the billabong. Up jumped the swagman and seized him with glee, and he sang as he tucked the jumbuck in his tucker bag. You'll come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Waltzing, Matilda, waltzing, Matilda, you'll come waltzing, Matilda, with me. And he sang as he sat and waited till his billy boiled. You'll come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Then up jumped the swagman and plunged into the billabong. You'll never take me alive, said he, but his voice can still be heard as you ride beside the billabong. Come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Waltzing, Matilda, waltzing, Matilda, you'll come waltzing, Matilda, with me. And his voice can still be heard as you ride beside the billabong. Come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Waltzing, Matilda, waltzing, Matilda, you'll come waltzing, Matilda, with me. And his voice can still be heard as you ride beside the billabong. Come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Come waltzing, Matilda, with me. Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
Fred taught everybody a lot of things, but one lesson that comes to mind is you make a song your own, you know? And that's something we certainly try to pass on to students when we're teaching here. We picked this song because besides being a folk singer, Fred was a bartender. He had to have a second job as a folk singer. Nowadays, everybody has to have a second job. Well, I'm just a bartender, and I don't like the work, and I don't mind the money at all. Seen lots of bad cases and lots of sad faces of folks with their heads to the wall. And I need 4 walls around me to hold my life and keep me from going astray. And a honky-tonk angel to hold me tight, keep me from slipping away.
I could light up your smokes, laugh at your jokes, watch you fall down on your knees. Down this bar, gas up my car, I can pack up, mail in my keys.
I need 4 walls around me to hold my life, keep me from going astray. Honky-tonk angel to hold me tight, keep me from slipping away. The smoke fills the air in this honky-tonk bar, and I'm thinking where I'd rather be.
But I burned all my bridges, and I sank all my ships, and I'm stranded at the end of the sea.
And I need 4 walls around me to hold my life, keep me from going astray. A honky-tonk angel to hold me tight, keep me from slipping.
Well, hi, everybody. I had the distinct pleasure of hiring Fred on just a few occasions for the Old Town School. You know, he was somebody who had, I thought, like equal parts generosity and curmudgeonliness, you know. And Fred was, because you, I'm sure, and many of you were here at all these events, the 25th anniversary, the 30th anniversary, the 35th anniversary, the 40th anniversary, on and on. Fred was always generous to come and sing at all of those events. And, you know, he was always there. And now these strumathons, he would come and he would share his spirit and the certain dignity that he brought to those songs that he sang. One occasion I had to meet with Fred because I wanted to get him to teach at the school. So he came in and we talked about this, and he said, you know, I don't really want to teach, you know, I don't think I could deal with students. And I said, well, you know, and then he started playing these songs that I had never ever heard before. And he just pulled them out one after another, all these songs, not for all the good people, but all kinds of other ones that I felt like, well, Fred, you are, as a Chicago Tribune or somebody Chicago Magazine called him Chicago's troubadour, and he really was. You know, he had all those songs, and he brought that air of this is important. This is important what we're doing, and he brought a certain dignity to it and respectability that even when acoustic music was not being greeted with the grandeur of the popular culture, Fred was there. So I said, Fred, can you teach some of those songs in a class? He said, oh, I don't know. I don't want to do that. I said, well, we'll put no expectations on you at all. We'll just call this class, unlike the other classes it had to have, where people needed to provide lesson plans and tell me what you're going to teach in this class. I said, Fred, we'll have no expectations. We'll just call the class Fred's Favorites. You can decide when you arrive what you're going to teach, you know. Just pull one of those songs out. And he said, okay, I'll do that, but don't ever call me before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we had a bargain. Well, this train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, don't care nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train is bound for glory, this train. Sing with me. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, don't care nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train's bound for glory, this train. And this train don't carry no gamblers, this train. This train don't carry no gamblers, this train. This train don't carry no gamblers, no crap shooters, no midnight ramblers. This train don't carry no gamblers, this train. This train carried my mother, this train. This train carried my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my mother. This train carried my mother, this train. And I remember Fred would always do this. He would insist that you sing along with him. We're not done until we sing it right. This is a school, so we get to practice it all we want. So try it with me. Well, this train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, don't care nothing but the righteous and the holy. This train's bound for glory, this train. And he would always do this, and he would just say, okay, it's your turn. Here you go. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, this train. This train's bound for glory, this train's bound for glory, this train. Yeah, this train's bound for glory, this train. One more time. This train's bound for glory, this train. Thank you.
I used to spend a lot of time at the Folklore Center with Fred, and that's where I did a lot of talking. We had a lot of conversation. He was working and I was playing, and I would sometimes bring my harmonica along, and I used to always play in A minor. I said, can you get your banjo going? He says, well, we'll play in such. I said, no, I play in A minor. And so he started calling me A minor Ella. But anyway, one time I was working on a place called the Totem Club, and although a lot of my friends couldn't remember, they did say, oh, Ella's on the totem pole. And so I got him on as a guest. I asked him if he could come over and do something with children. And he had a 5-string banjo, and he was really exciting and excitable, and one of his strings broke, and I got so upset. And he says, I can play 4 strings too. And he just went on. But so I think it's fitting for me to do a children's chant with you. So I'm going to ask you, did you feed my cow? You say, yes, ma'am. Did you feed my cow?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell me how?
Yes, ma'am.
I said, what did you feed her? You'll say, corn and hay. What did you feed her?
Corn and hay.
What did you feed her?
Corn and hay.
Did you milk her good?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you milk her like you should?
Yes, ma'am.
How did you milk? You say, squish, squish, squish. How did you milk her?
Squish, squish, squish.
How did you milk her?
Squish, squish, squish.
Did my cow get sick?
Yes, ma'am.
Was she covered with tick?
Yes, ma'am.
How did she die? How did she die? How did she die? Did the buzzards come?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the buzzards come?
Yes, ma'am.
How did they come? Flop, flop, flop. Don't be afraid. Flop, flop, flop. How did they come?
Flop, flop, flop.
Now I'm going to put you through a test. Now, did you feed my cow?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell me how?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you feed her?
Corn and hay.
What did you feed her?
Corn and hay.
Now, did you milk her good?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, did you milk her like you should?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how did you milk her?
Swish, swish, swish.
How did you milk her?
Swish, swish, swish.
Now, did my cow get sick?
Yes, ma'am.
Or was she covered with tick?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how did she die? How did she die? Now, did the buzzards come?
Yes, ma'am.
Did the buzzards come?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, how did they come?
Flop, flop, flop.
How did they come?
Flop, flop, flop.
Now, this time, listen careful. Did you feed my cow? Hand clap. Did you feed my cow? Could you tell me how? What did you feed her? What did you feed her? Finger snaps. Did you feed my cow? Could you tell me how? What did you feed her? What did you feed her? What did you feed her? Thank you very much. And this is all for Fred. Okay, thank you. Now, thank you so much.
One of my favorite songs from Fred Holstein's repertoire is Turning Towards the Morning by Gordon Bach. And it always brings back one of my fondest memories of Fred. When in 1977, Gordon came and did a concert at the Old Town School. And he played this song, which was a relatively new song at the time, and he thought possibly unheard in Chicago. When he came to the first chorus, he was startled to hear the whole audience break into song and join him. But he looked up in surprise and immediately saw Fred in the front row and smiled and nodded and continued with the song. Then at the end of the song, instead of accepting the applause for himself, he continued to smile and just nodding his head said, well, you can always tell where Fred Holstein's been. And then he added, and I hope you people in Chicago appreciate what you've got. Well, I never saw anybody glow like gold and blush like a ruby at the same time, but Fred sat there like a 5-year-old boy who just had the world's largest birthday cake wheeled out in front of him. And, now, I would never be so bold as to think I could stand in for Fred or Gordon up here, but you are the real thing, the Old Town School audience. And I know that Fred would love to know that we're still singing the songs he taught us.
When the deer has bedded down and the bear has gone to ground and the northern goose has wandered off to warmer baying sound. It's so easy in the cold to feel the darkness of the year, and the heart is growing lonely for the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow? The seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago. If I had a thing to give you, I'd tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. October's growing thin, November's coming home. You'll be thinking of the season and the sad things that you've seen, and you'll hear that wind come walking, hear him singing high and thin. You could swear he's out there singing of your sorrow. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow? The seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago. If I had a thing to give you, I'd tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. When the darkness falls around you and the north wind comes to blow, and ye hear him call your name out as he walks the brittle snow, that old wind don't mean your trouble. He don't care or even know. He's just walking down the darkness towards the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow? The seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago. If I had a thing to give you, I'd tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. It's a pity we don't know what the little flowers know. They can't take the cold November, they can't stand the ice and snow. They put their glories all behind them, bow their heads and let it go. But you know they'll be there shining in the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow? The seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago. If I had a thing to give you, I'd tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. Oh, my Joni, don't you know the days are rolling slow and the winter's walking easy as it did so long ago. If that wind should come and ask you, why's my Joni weeping so? Won't you tell him you're just weeping for the morning? Oh, my Joni, don't you know that the stars are swinging slow? The seas are rolling easy as they did so long ago. If I had a thing to give you, I'd tell you one more time that the world is always turning towards the morning. The world is always turning towards the morning.
Thank you, Fred.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much. It was hard to try to figure out what song to sing for Fred, because he was responsible for me breaking the law many, many years ago when I used to use fake IDs to get into his club. I would stay until the last note was done. He would make the hairs on the back of my neck just stand up, and I was so struck by him. Just this flood of emotion comes over when I think of all the nights that I would sit just enthralled by what he did on that stage. But I was on my way to Dye's today, and we hadn't figured out what song we were going to do, what I remembered, I was finishing up singing at the Barbarossa many years ago, and Fred was singing at the Earl, and so we wrapped up my set and we went to the Earl, and we walked in, and there wasn't very many people there. That was the nicest time of night, actually, to hear Fred, I thought, some of the time. And there was this raucous group of people to the left as we walked into the Earl, and they wanted to know if there was a good party in town, and we weren't interested. So we sat down right in the center, and we were there to listen to Fred for another hour or two. And the raucous group of people got up and left, and Fred stopped and said, "Well, I've had the distinct pleasure of having Bob Dylan walk out in the middle of my set." He was sitting there. He had been performing. He had, I guess, gone out to look for some party spots, but it was just a memory. So, as always, I did stay till the end and then some, as I recall. And so, for all I know, I wrote this song after listening to Fred one night. It's called "I Don't Drink Tequila No More, That's a Fact, Jack." And it's a sing-along of sorts.
Yes,
Fred would like it, and what's beautiful about it is you don't even need to know it. Just
That's
make
right, Kathy.
some noise. My eyelids are burning, my throat is all dry. My car's parked on the porch, and I can't recall why. I promise myself as I crawl across the floor that I won't drink tequila no more. Those cute little glasses, just 2 inches tall, never look very deadly, don't hold much at all. The first one's the worst. You gotta have 3 or 4, but I don't drink tequila no more. Here's your part now. Another day wasted, the sun hurts my eyes. Go away, people, 'cause I'm gonna die like a lover who's left me. I feel betrayed. Heaven last night, sure hell today. You gotta give up some things when your body gets old. Her body got old. Now on, I swear that includes Cuervo Gold. No more Cuervo. Don't remind me how often she said this. I've said this before. Since I don't drink tequila no more. I'm starting to focus. I stand myself up. I pour the whole pot into my coffee cup. Maybe later I'll jog to that new health food store. Since I don't drink tequila no more. Another day wasted, the sun hurts my eyes. Go away, people, 'cause I'm gonna die like a lover who's left me. I feel betrayed. Heaven last night is sure hell today. I've done myself in. I've done myself wrong. Whenever I'm tempted, I'm gonna sing me this song. Thank heavens, I'm easy for me to ignore. Since I don't drink tequila, no. Big finish now, Don. Take us home. Another day wasted, the sun hurts my eyes. Go away, people, 'cause I'm gonna die like a lover who's left me. I feel betrayed. Heaven last night, sure hell today. I'm feeling much
Probably, Kathy.
I don't think I'll drink. Well, baby. For you, Fred. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Curious flood of memories going on. I remember being a younger folk singer at one time. And I'd try to sing those nautical songs, you know, and I'd always get tangled up in the terminology. And I'm always grateful to Fred Holstein for finally setting me straight on just which side is port and which side is sherry. I needed a little reminder in the back room. I had to ask Betsy Redhed what was her dad's birthday. It was December 18th. And I had the great fortune to play with Fred at Somebody Else's Troubles on December 18th, 1975. Or maybe it was 76. Might have been 77. Well, there was a birthday celebration going on, and I thought, this is a wonderful group of people. And I'm so happy to know them all. So I wrote a little song. Where have all the good times gone? I heard some people say. Where have all the good times gone? I heard some people say. And there's a chorus. You have to sing along with me. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn. That's all there is to it. Here we go. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn around. Well, I looked high and I looked low, I searched most everywhere. Good times can't be bought or sold, good times must be shared. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn around. See, the answer to my question is easy as can be. The answer to my question was right in front of me. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn around. Where have all the good times gone? I heard some people say. Where have all the good times gone? I heard some people say. Sing it out. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn around. Good times all around you now, just where they've always been. Good times all around you now, good food, good drink, good friends. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn softly. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn. Let's raise the roof. See the world spin and turn around. See the world spin and turn around. Thank you so much.
I remember the first time I went to see Fred Holstein at the Earl, and I walked in, and I never spoke to Fred. He was kind of quiet. He was so important and scary to me. My old jug band used to play a lot of gigs with Fred in the old peace rally days, benefits and fundraisers and such. So I wanted to bring in the washboard in honor of that. This is a medley of songs about trains. Please sing along with me. I call this train travel. And I figure that Fred's up there on the eternal train, and if we sing loud enough, he'll hear it. Starts with a poem by Edna St. Vincent Millay. The railroad track is miles away, and the day is loud with voices speaking. Yet there isn't a train goes by all day, but I hear its whistle shrieking. All night, there isn't a train goes by, though the night is still for sleep and dreaming, but I see its cinders red on the sky and hear its engines steaming. My heart is warm with the friends I make, and better friends I'll not be knowing. Yet there isn't a train I wouldn't take, no matter where it's going. Here she comes down the line. Well, the Rock Island line is a mighty good road. Rock Island line is a road to ride. Rock Island line is a mighty good road. If you want to ride, you gotta ride it like you finally get your ticket at the station at the Rock Island line. If you want to ride, you gotta ride it like you finally get your ticket at the station at the Rock Island line. Freight train going so fast. Freight train going so fast. Please don't tell what train I'm on, so they won't know where I've gone. But I better get on down the line. But I better get on down the line. Here come 97, picking up some time. 97 at your back, got a ton of coke pour down the stack. Here come 97, running down the track. From the great Atlantic Ocean to the wide Pacific shore, from the green and flowering mountains to icebound Labrador, from the hills of Minnesota where the rippling waters fall, no change in standard gauging on the Wabash Cannonball. Listen to the jigsaw, the rumble and the roar as she glides along the woodland through the hills and by the shore. Hear the mighty rush of engines, lonesome hobo squall, riding through the jungle on the Wabash Cannonball.
Fred and I have the same birthday. We're both born on December 9th. That meant that I got to celebrate my birthday with Fred on one or two occasions. The last time we remember doing it together, all I know is it was at somebody else's troubles, and by the end of the night, I was sitting at the bar, and Fred gave me that, that grin that you know that grin, And I grinned right back at him, and I woke up and I was in my own bed. 2 days later, I walked in the troubles, and Fred was coming up from the basement. He saw me, and he just almost broke into tears, and he gave me a big hug, and he said, "Never again." To this day, I don't know exactly what never again was. One clue was that Fred started apologizing to people before his birthday. And so that's it, Hey, you mix some champagne, some cognac, a twist of lime, and then you forget most of your... Never mind. This is a song that Fred had done one time. It's a Sir Tony song called Sammy's Bar. When I play it, I always thought of Fred, and I still do, and I hope you like it. Oh, one thing. It's got a little call and answer. The first one is, "The last boats are leaving," and the other one is, "Haul away, hey to Dizo." I don't know what a Dizo is. Use your imagination, and while you're using your imagination, I'll try to remember how I got in my bed that night. I went down to Sammy's bar. The last boats are leaving.
shore by Pieta, all the way to Daiso. And I saw my one true love there. The last boats are leaving. She had sand all in her hair, all the way to Daiso. And how did sand get in your hair? The last boats are leaving. My darling Johnny put it there, all the way to Daiso. And he's a better man by far. The last boats are leaving, 'cause he's got a Yankee car, all the way to Daiso. So I went out to Sammy's bar. The last boats are leaving. Had to hire a Yankee car, all the way to Daiso. For 14 days I drank no wine. The last boats are leaving, just a saving for that love of mine, all the way to Daiso. And then one day in Polo Square, the last boats are leaving. At a paper I did stare, all the way to Daiso. Johnny tried a hairpin bend. The last boat's leaving. For my love, it was the end, all the way to Daiso. Randy. I'm going back to Sammy's bar. The last boats are leaving. I don't need no Yankee car, all the way to Daiso, all the way to Daiso, all the way to Daiso.
I'm going to try to do justice to a beautiful song written by Bruce Phillips, Rock, Salt, and Nails. By the banks of the river, where the willows hang down, wild birds are warble with their high lonesome sound. Down in some holler
listen to the lies that you told. Now I lie on my bed and I see your sweet face. The past I remember, oh, time can't erase the letters you wrote me. It's written in shame. And I know that your conscience still echoes my name. The nights are so long, so long. Sorrow runs deep. Nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than a night without sleep. I lie here alone and I look at the sky. Too empty to say, too lonesome to cry. The ladies was blackbirds, if the ladies was thrushes, I'd lie there for hours, the chilly cold marshes. Ladies will squirm with their high bushy tails. I'd fill up my shotgun with rock salt and nails. Fill up my shotgun, rock salt and nails. Fill up my shotgun with rock salt and nails.
Thank you, Randy Lee.
it's nice to be here and part of this occasion. It's a wonderful community of folk musicians over the decades in Chicago. Had a chance to know a lot of people from here. George and Jerry Armstrong, Win Strachey. Fred is among those people. Last time I saw him, I think, was a long time ago, was at Holstein's. And I must say that one of the things that's happened in the last couple decades is that folk music has gotten a whole lot more organized. Have you noticed that? Anyway, Cy Khan was singing there, and I was in town, and Fred asked me to sing something. So I think of Cy's song about Fred, and I'd like to sing it for you now. Oh, fighter, you sure took it on the chin. Thought you never had the strength to stand, never giving up or giving in. You know I just want to shake your hand and say that people like you help people like me go on, go on. People like you help people like me go on, go on. Oh, battler with a scar for every town, thought you were no better than the rest, wore your colors every way but down. All you ever gave us was your best. You know that people like you help people like me go on, go on. People like you help people like me go on, go on. Oh, dreamer with a world in every thought, where'd you get the vision to go on? Sure give back as good as what you got. I hope that when my time is almost gone, they'll say that people like me help people like you go on, go on. For people like you help people like me go on, go on. People like you help people like me go on, go on. People like you help people like me.
Fred was my teacher and my mentor. It wasn't just about his intelligence and his sense of humanity, his sense of social justice, and his sense of humor that got to me. He was so generous with his time and with sharing the songs that other people wrote. I started hearing him when I was about 16. I was going to Catholic girls' school and sneaking into the Earl with my twin sister. We would get there at like 9 o'clock at night and steal the front seats, and we couldn't drink, so we drank Coke. So it was a joke that we never drank and kept holding the good seats. The waitresses didn't get big tips. And we'd stay till 4 or 5 in the morning, and that went on for years until we were old enough to sing there. But in the meantime, I was very shy. Kathy was pretty wild, if any of you remember us. Pretty darn wild, and I was the shy one. I do have my moments even now. Then the other thing is, he knew so many songs. He knew thousands of songs, and I always pride myself that I'm a human encyclopedia of music because I've traveled all over the world, and that again came from singing at the Earl. But Fred knew songs from classical all the way to the Beatles, and this was like one of the highlights of my time when I was 17. He taught me this in the back of the Earl of O Town. That George Harrison part that's so hard on Blackbird, that... And it was like, who would teach a girl that in those days, you know? So he took a lot of chances with me, and we walked the lines. And at one point, my sister and I were offered roles in Jacques Brel's Alive and Well and Living in New York, not Paris. And we went out for the show, and what amazed me when we came back was that we had been working with these people who were singing these Jacques Brel songs who were phenomenal. But you go back to Chicago and sit down and listen to Fred, and he would literally rip your guts out when he sang The Port of Amsterdam. And when he sang Dylan, With God on Our Side, you just get chills down your spine. And
So I would probably say I've learned 200 or 300 songs in my life because of that man, and I thank him to this day for all that he and Ginny Clemens and Bonnie Koloc and Tom Dundee and so many others taught me. And so I want to sing this song without Kathy. You guys can all be Kathy, and it's a song that he sang for years and he taught me called Hobo's Lullaby. Here's your part. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the towns drift slowly by. Beautiful. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. One more time, it's so pretty. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. I know your clothes are torn and ragged, and your hair is turning gray. Smile, don't think about your troubles. You find peace and love someday. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. Do not think about tomorrow. Let tomorrow come and go. Tonight you're in a nice warm boxcar, free from all the rain and snow. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. I know the police cause you trouble. They cause trouble everywhere. Close your eyes and think of heaven. You won't see no policeman there. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming? That's a hobo's lullaby. This one's for Fred. And now you're singing hallelujah. And Steve and Pete and Ginny too. So every time we raise our voices, we'll be singing one for you. Sing it for Freddie. Go to sleep, you weary hobo. Let the town drift slowly by. Can't you hear the steel rail humming?
That's Hobo's lullaby.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So many wonderful things spoken here today about Fred. I'd like to share with you some poignant observations in a short poem by a longtime mutual friend, a man named Vince Clark, whom many of you know. The lights were right and the sound checked out, but he didn't really care. He just tuned up close enough, and the stories filled the air. Stories about the sailors and the cowboys and the bums, about the grifters and the gamblers and bad men on the run, of windswept scapes far away or harbors snug at home, and women, the ones to love and the ones to leave alone. The people in his stories became part of him. He made no excuses for their weaknesses or their sins. They were drunk and mean and sweet and good. They'd go you a hatful blind. Even the lucky ones were lonely half the time. They never asked for diamonds. They were happy with a ring. And they knew they'd all die alone, like the emperors and the kings. The people in his stories, yeah, they knew those kinds of things. Vince Clark. Now, a song, to the best of my recollection, first heard this in about 1968, Fred the Singer. Well, I'm old Tom Moore from the Bummer Show in the good old golden days. They called me a bummer and a gin sot too, but what cares I for praise? Well, I ramble around from town to town, folks say there goes a sign. Well, it's old Tom Moore from the Bummer Shore in the days of '49. My comrades, I loved them all, a jolly, saucy crew. A few hard cases, I will admit, but they were brave and true. Whate'er the pinch, they never would flinch, never would sweat or whine. Like good old bricks, they took their kicks in the days of '49. There was New York Jake, a butcher's boy, he was always getting tight. Every time Jake got drunk, he was itching for a fight. One night he ran up against a knife in the hands of old Bob Sign. And over Jake we held awake in the days of '49. In the days of gold, the days of old, how oft times I repine for the days of old when we dug for gold, the days of '49. There was Poker Bill, one of the boys, he was always in for a game. Whether he lost or whether he won, to him it was all the same. He'd ante up and draw his cards, he'd go you a hatful blind. In the game with death, Bill lost his breath in the days of '49. There was Rag Shag Bob from Buffalo, I never will forget. He'd roar all day and he'd roar all night, and I guess he's roaring yet. One night he fell in a prospect hole, a roaring bad design. And in that hole he roared out his soul in the days of '49. There was old lame Jess, a mean old cuss who never would relent. He was never known to miss a drink or ever spend a cent. Ah, but old lame Jess, just like the rest, to death he did resign, and in his bloom he went up the flume in the days of 49. Now of all the comrades I have known, there's none that's left to boast. I'm left alone in my misery, like some poor wandering ghost. But as I go along my way, folks say there goes a sign. It's old Tom Moore from the Bummer Shore in the days of 49. Yeah, the days of gold, the days of old, how oft times I repine. For the days of gold, the days of old, the days of 49.
I remember Fred from, I think it was 1957 or 1958, in high school. We went to high school together for a couple of years. But, I was thinking about legends. It's always a good thing that we had an opportunity to really honor and appreciate Fred Holstein while he was here. Because I always think legends, it's really great that we honor them afterwards. And it's such a cool thing to do it while they're still here. And I know that Fred would really want to thank Ray Nordstrand for making it possible in Chicago for all of us to honor our legends while they're here. And I know he's also want to thank Rich Warren for following on that path. So we're very fortunate here in Chicago to have people like these supporting all the local artists like myself and Fred and everyone. So I wanted to throw that one in there. Anyway, this is a tune that was inspired by George Carlin, who used to have the phrase, vous jadez. That feeling like you've never been there before. Ready, Jim? I'm ready. Okay, I'm not. Okay, but... Seen that face before. It's some particular time and place before. Well, I don't know. Could it be deja vu? Or just my imagination running away with you? I don't know. Could it be deja vu? Or just my imagination running away with you? Just my imagination running away with you. I've seen those eyes before. I've never been so hypnotized before. Well, is that you doing that voodoo? Or just my imagination running away with you? Just my imagination running away with you. guess we never met before. At least we never met as yet before. Well, you're so cool, and I'm so free. How about you and your imagination running away with me? Well, you're so cool, and I'm so free. How about you and your imagination running away with me? How about you and your imagination running away with
In listening to Fred's CD, I figured out that through his songs, he chose them so carefully because Fred really revealed who he was in his songs. Jules Everhart and Kathy Kelly made it possible for that beautiful CD to come out a few years ago. And Jim is on that CD because he produced the only record that Fred had done. And they went out to Vermont, and there's lots of stories, but we can't tell them, can we? And Jules said that all his records had worn out, and he wanted Fred's music not to be lost. And so through his efforts, that became a reality. And one night, Jules and Fred were sitting at the Abbey Tavern having a beer shortly after the CD came out, and Fred looked at Jules and said, "You know, I know who I am, and I am a folk singer." And so he was really proud of it, and how many of us can say that we know truly who we are and that we truly love what we do. I'm going to do this song because I could really hear Fred's tenderness and gentleness in this song, and of course he loved Utah Phillips' work, and this is one of Utah's songs, and it's called Nevada Jane. Are the linens turned down in folds of glowing white? Are you lying there alone again tonight? He's marching with the men through the blowing cold and rain. Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. When he stumbles in with blood upon his shirt, he'll wash away the pain just to hide the hurt. He'll lay down beside you and wake you with your name, and you'll hold him in your arms, Nevada Jane. Have you seen how he holds her like she was a bride? Children climbing on his shoulders, strong and wide. She never thought to scold him, even to complain. And Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. Now Nevada Jane went riding, her pony took a fall. The doctor said she never would ride again at all. Bill lifted her lightly with his big hands rough and plain, and gently carried home Nevada Jane. The storms of Colorado would last for 10 long years. The mines of old Montana were filled with blood and tears. California, Arizona, Utah heard the name of the man who always loved Nevada Jane. Have you seen how he holds her like she was a bride? Children climbing on his shoulders, strong and wide. She never thought to scold him or even to complain. And Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. The ranks have all scattered like leaves upon the tree, and all the golden memories of harder times than these. Some things never change, and some things stay the same, like Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. Have you seen how he holds her like she was a bride? Children climbing on his shoulders, strong and wide. She never thought to scold him or even to complain. And Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. Big Bill always loved Nevada Jane. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Jim Tullio on the guitar. Well, I want to make a little confession. Both Freddie and I totally loved Pete Seeger. And years before I ever came to Chicago, I was at the Berkeley Folk Festival. And now I have never stolen anything in my life. And in fact, I took some apples from a neighbor's tree once and went to confession and cried. And so I was in this bookstore in Berkeley, and they had all these little posters of Pete Seeger that were made with real photographs. They were stapled onto a cardboard, and they had them up. They had them everywhere. There were a lot of them. And I kind of moved up. I kind of leaned over, and I kind of took one off the wall and stuck it in my coat. And later, years later, I met Pete Seeger. Or no, maybe, I guess it might have been at the festival. Somehow I met him, and I said, "Oh, Mr. Seeger, would you please sign this picture?" And he said, "Where'd you get this?" And I said, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was in a bookstore. And he said, "You mean you stole it?" And I said, "Well, kind of." And so he signed it, "Pete Seeger, this picture was stolen." And I carried it around for years. And after I was here in Chicago, I think I had a few beers one night, and I was feeling very guilty. And I thought, well, this is a good way to make penance. And so I gave it to Fred. So I'm sure Freddie had that somewhere. He would love it if you would sing along with this. And I wrote just a couple extra verses at the end. Another really wonderful Utah Phillips song. I believe if I live my life again, yeah, you can sing along, I would be here with you. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, I'd be here, still here with you. And if I thought that Lady Luck was blind, oh, that old sun would never shine.
And if I thought that death really held a knife, we'd all be beggars of life. And I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be here with you. Sometimes I just want to close my eyes to those things I don't want to see. And I believe if you lived your life again, oh, you would be right here with me. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. I'll never see the ending of my mind, and everything has got its time. And I don't want the things that I don't need, or pretty lies to hide my grief. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. And we all gather here today to sing our friend upon his way, a troubadour now among the stars, far away but close in our hearts. Oh, I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. Oh, now I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. So let us sing and we'll celebrate. Oh, your spirit you can take. All our love and all our gratitude for the time we had with you. Really sweet now. I believe if I live my life again, oh, I would be right here with you. Yes, now I believe if I live my life again, oh, I'd still be here with you. Oh,
Corky Siegel on the harmonica, Jim Tulio. Thank you all.
Thank you. Chicago was incorporated as a town, 350 people. Through the years, y'all have gotten larger. And so have I. Hello. I want to share some information with you. I'm going to take about 60 seconds. I want to do justice to some people. The way I wrote this song, I had very particular people in mind, some very particular events, occurrences in mind. So I wrote the song with a verse about all the good women, another verse about all the good fellas. And that very first verse about women says, originally, food on the table. And I had some ladies let me know they didn't like that. Well, I was writing about things that had occurred in the past, about maybe going to someone's house and a lady offering me some food and a gentleman offering me hospitality and verbal chit-chat and whatever. So if I sing it differently than I wrote it, I feel like I would be somehow disavowing those good people that I was thinking about at the time. But I did change one word, food, to cards on the table. And then once I did that, immediately I was like, whoa, I like that even better. Yeah. Cards on the table, let's be honest. Yeah, I like that. So, our chair is here. Ed Trickett is right over here. Ed, come on out. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Sure. And folks at home listening, and folks listening in years to come, hopefully, on a recording of this bittersweet, as someone said, wonderful, bittersweet event. That applause you just heard was all those great performers that have been here all day tonight doing just a wonderful job. Yeah, once again, sure. This song was written like everyone's life could be compared to an oil painting. People that pass through your life, they pick up a brush, they make a mark here, a brush stroke there. Their particular colors and hues. See what I mean? Make a touch up here, touch up there. Doesn't it all add up to you? So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. This is a song for all the good women who knew what I needed was something they had. Cards on the table, a heart that was able to keep me just this side of sad. This is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking stars for tonight. Ed Trickett right here.
This is a song for all the good fellas, shared up my times, good and the bad. We sang in the kitchen, held no competition, each knowing the other was a good friend to have.
So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. Joan Sprung wrote this verse. This is a verse for the pickers and singers whose tunes and whose voices have blended with mine. On back steps and stages, for love and for wages, it's one kind of given, some kind of fine. So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. Let me give you some verses you may not have heard. You see, this is a song I sing for my lady who puts up with me. My rambling and roaming, my late night come home, and she is the sunshine, and I am a rutabaga. So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up your life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. You start this one, is that right? No? Oh, that's right. I got it. I got to tell y'all. See, we're capoed. We're in A. If anybody at home's wondering, what is that chord he keeps playing? That chord is A. Just if the people at home want to play along. Once upon a time, Gordon Bach and Bob Zent sang in the city of Chicago. They sang this song and they left town and said, wait a minute, this nice, happy, rose-colored glasses, the bunny's gonna come down the trail any second song. Is that the Ken Hicks we know? So, they wrote a verse about those other people. So you start, is that right? Okay, good, Ed.
Okay. This is a song for those other people.
Those other people who screwed up my life.
Some by invention,
some with invention.
Some I would mention if it weren't for his wife.
So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song, beautiful, for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. You know, some helped in hallways, some helped in small ways, but some always told me, you're doing all right. So this is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. So I'm going to write here, put in a spoken thought that I thank Rich Warren for making it very possible and easy for me to be here. I thank Nancy and Peter Clark for a bundle of warm hospitality. I thank Colleen Miller, her buddy Sarah. Last time, bless you all. This is a song for all the good people, all the good people who touched up my life. This is a song for all the good people, people I'm thanking my stars for tonight. People I'm thanking my stars for tonight.
The audience is giving Ken Hicks and the entire multitude of artists who performed here today a standing ovation.